Greetings, programs. Welcome to Hydaelyn's Heroes, the Final Fantasy XIV podcast, where whether you're a warrior of light or a warrior of darkness, all are welcome on the star we call home. There's not a lot of Final Fantasy XIV happening right now. I mean, the game's on. It's an MMO. It's always on. But there's not a lot of news. It's kind of the quiet before the patch. We do have an announcement on Live Letter. It's August 12th, so I'm excited about that. Not excited about being up at 5 a.m. to cover that and do that with you all. But yeah, we're going to just talk about the state of the game, elements that we like, don't like, what we'd like to see come to it, and then kind of go from there. It's kind of a winging episode. So before we get any further, let me introduce my co-host every week, the Quadfather himself, the Megatron to my Optimus Prime, Mr. Piers Harvey. How you doing, Piers?
Doing all right, man. Living the dream, as they say. You know, when you don't have anything to say about how you're doing, you just say "living the dream." That's how it goes. That's how you know
I got some people in chat. They're like, yeah, it's not socially acceptable to say how I really feel, so I just say "living the dream."
Living the dream, exactly. Yep.
What's up, Mannequin? How you doing, sir? I like to say, and I got this from a previous boss of mine, I'm living somebody's dream.
There you go. Yeah. Yep.
Someone's got to want this dream. I mean, someone wants a job, and okay.
Could be doing worse. Yeah.
All right, man. So, state of the game. Let's just do an overall right off the top. Final Fantasy XIV. Is it doing good? Is it doing bad? Does it need a lot of changes? Where do you think the game is at, sir?
I think the game it's doing its thing. I don't think it's doing any worse than it normally has. I think it's doing well. I mean, obviously, we've said in the past that content lulls can be a little boring. There's not a whole lot to do, especially in my opinion, the odd number patches, there's really not a whole lot to do because there's no new Savage. There was an Ultimate this time around, but not everybody's into Ultimate. And even after you're done Ultimate, there's like not a whole lot you can get yourself into besides catching up on things like leveling your jobs or crafting or any of that stuff, or maybe finishing some like role quest stuff, or some stuff you've put off and you want to do later, things like Beast Tribes. So, I mean, I think the game's fine. Of course, I wish there was more to do, but, that's kind of a problem I've made myself because I've finished leveling all my jobs to 90, and I guess I could hop on an alt or something and level those up, but that's a tall order because I got to go through all the storyline. But,
yeah, that is a tall order. That is a tall order.
But I think it's fine. How do you feel about it, though?
I think it's in a good place. Yes, we get content lulls. But with the patch cycles as they are, I'm it's better than, let's say, another game at another company that shall remain nameless, like when you could possibly get 6 months to 9 months between patches, or patches that are supposed to come out, but they're like, you know what, we're going to do an expansion. Like, we know basically what we're getting. There might be some surprises and new stuff here and there, but the rigidity of their schedule really lets you know, hey, you know what, maybe this is a patch I can take off. I got everything from the Savages, and none of this stuff really interests me. So as we said before, Yoshi encourages people to unsub. So it's a healthy game because it doesn't demand you to be here every single day. Do you concur with that at all?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I know that there are other games, specifically other MMOs, that really require a lot of your time to get stuff done. I've never played really any other MMO but Square Enix ones, so I can't really tell you, but I know that there's those out there that would say that there are very grindy games out there that really demand a lot of your time if you want to stay caught up. But Final Fantasy is one of those things where you don't have to stay subbed all the time. You can kind of go at your own pace, and you can gear up on your, at your own pace. And when a new patch comes out and there's new gear to get, then you can resub and you can work towards getting that. And then once you're done with that, then you can come back later. It's just one of those games. So I really appreciate that about the game. And really, you kind of get out of Final Fantasy what you put into it. Like, if you really want Yeah, if you really want to like grind it hard and you really want to make like do something like make Gil or any of that stuff, that the option's there for you. But it's still like one of those things where you don't feel like you're chained to the game, right? You can always take a break and feel like you're not losing that much progress, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, the really only thing mandatory for this game, in my opinion, is the MSQ. Everything else is side content. If you really think about it, everything is tied to the MSQ. And if you want to get anything unlocked, you don't have to do rating. Tomestones can be gotten from a plethora of different resources. You could PvP now and get that all out. You could do hunts. You could do normal raids. You could do, dungeons and those roulettes. So you could stay kind of caught up with gear, and it's replaced in the next, even number patch. And, and you could, you could take a break. You can come for the main segment of like a 0.0 patch, do all that content, and then unsub until the 0.5 patch, catch up on all that story, catch up on gear so that you're ready for the expansion, and then unsub for another couple months when the expansion launches.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's all, you're right. It's all about what you put into it. Whatever you find interesting, go and do. And if you don't find it interesting, then don't do it. There's a lot of different stuff. But with that kind of general oversee, let's talk about some specific. Sure. Let's go and start with raids. And then we'll throw in, I guess we'll do ultimates and savage and extremes.
Okay.
I feel that's a good bubble of rating content. I'm feeling that it is in an okay spot. I think people still maybe are a little bit upset that basically an entire ultimate got canceled. And whether you want to say, no, the Dragon Song came out, 6.1. Yes, but that means that basically an ultimate was canceled back in 5.3 because it was supposed to come out then they said push back to 5.5, and then they're like, oh, okay, it's not going to make it this expansion. So it got canceled. And unless they throw us a surprise with an ultimate in 6.3 and 6.5, they're not making up for that. So it's just one is just gone. I like Savage Raids. I would like to have one or two more fights. I think it's a good difficulty challenge, but I think the curve misses the mark because there's only 4. 1 and 2 are typically easily done in the first week or two. And then you get that roadblock in the 3rd fight in every tier. I think they could even that out. If they did 5, they could even out that hump a little bit. Or that gradual curve up in difficulty. And they have the right amount of gear to do it. I mean, you could do a boot and an accessory, a glove and accessory, head and an accessory, pants and an accessory, and then the final one, body and weapon as we currently have it. So they have enough weapons slots or gear slots to accompany rewards for those. But I mean, it's been this way for base game plus 4 expansions. They're probably not going to change it. It's just what I would like. I find the Savage to be a lot of fun. I'm glad I have a static. And then like I've been raiding with you for years now. And a lot of people in our team for years. So I've really gotten to know a lot of these individuals on a personal level. I can't imagine doing the Savage stuff on like Party Finder and stuff. It boggles my mind that people can do it. More props to them. I don't think I could do it. Ultimates are awesome. I wish I had a stable ultimate group for that because I really wanted to get this DSR one done. But we're gonna go in. There's plenty of time to go back and do more. So I don't need to be rushed. I don't need to put that pressure on myself. I know I can get it done. I've got 2 down, so I can get these other ones done, and I'm excited for 6.3, and hopefully, maybe I can be on your team. Maybe wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I got to work on some white mage to satiate to your other half.
Yes.
And then extremes. Extremes are okay. I feel like they're a good uh, testing ground for savages. Like,
Mhm.
if you could do an extreme, then you could probably do the first two, the savages. You know, get your feet wet. They offer up some interesting mechanics and a way of organizing. It's not to the level of Savage and definitely not to Ultimate. Um, but I like extremes and I like that we can get weapons from them. And I kind of wish we got glowy weapons right off the bat, so we didn't have to worry about crafting them afterwards. I'm like, why is there this extra step in putting particle effects? Like, just give us the particle effects like right away. And I don't know. But yeah, that's my whole take on the raiding scene. Piers, how do you feel about raiding as a general concept in 14?
I guess for me, I would agree with you on the fact that I think the 4 fights a savage tier is kind of um it's I feel like they could do more with it. I do think 5 fights is probably the way to go. I think you are right there. I don't think that they're gonna do it at least this expansion. I feel like it could be something they could do maybe in a future expansion. Maybe that can be a selling point and being like, hey, we're gonna actually do 5 fights this tier instead of each tier instead of 4. But I don't think if they're gonna do that, I think it's gonna be like an expansion thing and not like just throwing it in
Oh,
somewhere in the
absolutely.
middle of a
Yeah,
current
you can't do
expansion,
that in
right?
the middle of like we just had 4. You can't say, okay, there's going to be 5 this time. There are people like, wait,
Yeah.
whoa, back it up. Like, yeah, it's something you got to give them time and like announce during like um FanFest.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I do think that they're, obviously more is good as long as as long as they're not sacrificing quality for quantity, then it's fine for me. Um, and yeah, but you're right. They've been doing 4 fights forever. All the way back since a coil. We don't consider T3 to be a fight
T3
at
is
all.
not
It
a
was it was
is a
it was a
nuisance.
hallway,
It was a
right? Yeah, it was
nuisance.
boring. So there's only been 4. For me, I guess I don't know. It's hard for me to say. Like I enjoy the structure of the raids, as in you just queue in and then you fight a boss. I do kind of miss the old halcyon days of like going through some interesting trash or go like the coil days and going through even like T1 and getting to explore that whole area before you get to the snake boss Caduceus at the end. I thought that was fun, but I know it does kind of slog the raid down and it's kind of boring to have to do every week. I understand that. I don't know. I guess I would want some more interesting things in Savage, but at the same time, I'm not like complaining about the state that it's in right now. Um, and yeah, I mean, obviously, having a static makes it a lot more tolerable. Having a static that you can rely on, having a static that you can joke around with and have fun with, but still take it seriously. Obviously, to your level, if you're casual and you want to take it super casual and have a lot of fun, that's fine. If you want to find a hardcore group and go crazy hours and do a week 1 clear, and that's your prerogative. For me, as a quad father, as you called me, I still enjoy taking Savage at a leisurely pace, a mid-core pace. I like to
Yeah.
be able to at least clear the tier in a month, maybe like 5 weeks or so. But I like to have fun with people I know will show up on time and who like to have fun, and we're all joking around and having fun. Like that's my goal when it comes to Savage. So that's why I have fun. But definitely having a static makes it more tolerable. But I know there are people out there who really do enjoy the chaos of the party finder. So more power to those friends. But for me, I just like having that set group. So that's where I stand on Savage at least. I feel like they could maybe make the fights a little bit more difficult. Maybe near the end, like 3 and 4 could probably be a little bit more difficult, but that's just me.
If they do that,
Um,
they really got to put in that 5th fight in the middle.
yeah, that's
Otherwise,
fair.
you're going from down here, and then bam.
Yeah, maybe the progression before from 1 to 2 can be a little bit, because you're right. Like 1 and 2 are generally always on like the same level of difficulty,
Yeah.
right? And then it's like a shot up to 3, so it's like kind of. I feel like maybe the progression could be a little bit easier or a little bit more of a, not easier, I guess harder
Even
to go from. Yeah,
even
more even.
increase.
Exactly, that's a good word for it. But but yeah, I mean, they could do it. We'll see what happens. Maybe 6.2 will be a more challenging tier. Who knows? But
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah,
A
I think
little
that'd be
bit.
cool.
They usually will add just another step up, in each tier,
Yeah,
from like the first set to the second into their third set. So, I'm excited for it. It's, just what are we? 4 weeks away or 3 weeks away. Oh my God, it's
yeah,
coming. It's coming.
it's coming. And where was I going to go with that? Yeah, like you said, they do kind of want people to get used to their jobs in the first, like in the
Yes, that
point
too.
oh savages.
That too. Yeah. Good point.
And then as they 6.2 will probably be a little bit more difficult, and then hopefully 6.4 is like, actually a challenging tier, savage wise. I think it was like that last tier, though I will say that Shiva gave a lot of people trouble, and even Titan did give a lot of people trouble last expansion. And
Titan
I don't
gave us a little bit of trouble.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think those fights were pretty even. Like, I would say there's none really more difficult than the other. The door boss of 12 was kind of annoying, and actually I think more
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She,
Eden or
she
whatever was challenging.
sucked.
Yeah. So that was definitely a challenge and a step up, but whatever. But but man, I mean, like I said, they do want you to get used to your job in the point oh expand in the point oh savage, but the ultimate this time around what kicked ass, man. Like you had to know your job. Like, they were not messing around when they introduced DSR. So
Hmm.
I find that interesting that they were just like, well, you're used to your job hopefully in one tier, so let's kick your ass. But
Well, I mean, they had what, a year and a half to get
to
that.
tune it, right? Speaking of which, with Ultimate, like you said, it is sad that they had to cut an Ultimate last expansion. Obviously, we can use the excuse of COVID-19, and it's not a faulty excuse. I know it did affect a lot of people in different
Yep.
ways, and work was, it was difficult to work during that whole thing, and I understand that. And when you're looking at it, I'll play devil's advocate as somebody who really does enjoy ultimates and who really has a lot of fun clearing them and stuff. I still think that it was probably the right choice to cut the ultimate over cutting anything else in the game. I think you need to cater to your bulk audience before you cater to the high end players.
The one
There are
percenters or
figures
sub one percenters. Yeah.
there's figures out there of like 1%, 2, 3%, whatever, people who like attempt ultimates or whatever and actually clear them. But I also do understand from another point of view that ultimates bring in a lot of viewers. A lot of people like to watch the prog. It's a very exciting event for people to follow, and it does bring a lot of press to the game. So I guess it's unfortunate that they had to cut that, but I think they did it for the greater good.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people out there that would disagree with me and probably think I'm making a hot take, but that's where I'm at. And they are making ultimates now. They didn't cut them completely. They just had to shift it over, and we just only
Reassess
got one.
priorities. Yeah.
Yes. So as long as they don't jip us anymore, there's, hopefully COVID 2022 or whatever doesn't come out, right? And we have to go back to that. And hopefully they stay on schedule with these ultimates. I would prefer an expansion. 3, I think, is a little too much, but 2 an expansion would be perfect. And that's where I'm at with ultimates. I think that they're a lot of fun. I think that they are definitely something you can do in downtime when you're not doing anything. Even if you're not a super serious raider, you can just go in and give it a try. Uwu is definitely a very accessible ultimate to go in there and try and get your feet wet. Just as something to do if you're bored. I think it's definitely worth giving it a shot. As for extremes, I mean, extremes are extremes. I generally get a lot out of extremes. I like to farm them. For this time around, though, maybe it's because I was doing so much ultimate, but I did not spend a lot of time doing end singer. I didn't spend a lot of time doing end singer this patch for some reason.
I think I cleared her twice.
Yeah, not one of my favorite fights, let's put it that way. I didn't enjoy the fight very much. I still to this day can't really understand a lot of the call outs in that fight, like the head spinning around and stuff. Like
I got that.
Like,
I figured that shit out, and I was like, all right, I got heads, just follow me.
I don't know, that was big brain for me, kind of like Zodiac spinning the platform.
Yeah, that took me a while to figure that out. But yeah, once you realize it's a time rewind, and you and then it's just about counting at that point.
Yeah.
So that's the heads. My biggest part of Endsinger was knockback planets into AoE planets or vice versa.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tight. It was a tight timing.
Yeah. So, and if you didn't have your knockback prevent out, you're just like, okay, I hope I got this angle right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it was a rough fight, man. Even for an experienced raider such as myself, that's a pretty challenging fight. And I didn't do much of it this time around. I think because I was really busy with Ultimate, and usually I do like to go for the mount when when a extreme comes out. Me and my girlfriend Winnie like to prog and then farm extreme primals a lot when they're relevant, and we just didn't do it this tier again. Probably because of Ultimate took all of our time, but I like Ultimates. They're fine, or not Ultimates, Extremes. I think they're fine.
Do you think
As
they're a
for the
good
glowy,
launching point to get into Savage? Like,
yeah,
if you think
definitely.
if you can do, an extreme at a decent level, then you
Yeah,
maybe
I
you
think
can
if
challenge
you could do
Savage.
End Singer, yeah, if you could do End Singer, there's nothing that could keep you from doing like Eric Thonios or Hippocampus. I think you can do both of those if you can do End Singer, for sure. So I think that, yeah, I think it's a decent jumping off point. You get yourself a weapon that is competitive
Yeah.
with the tier, and you can get yourself into some Savage, I think, for sure. I think that with the glowy weapons thing you said, I think it's just for crafters to have something to do and make some money.
Oh, true.
That's why they don't do the particle effects right away. I wish that they were more consistent with releasing the glowy
Yes,
versions of these weapons, because
absolutely.
sometimes they just appear out of nowhere. They're just like, oh, here's a random patch with some
Yep.
random weapons in them. Here you go, have fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little
Like,
strange.
like you would think that they would maybe go in order and how they release them.
Yeah,
But like they were working on Stormblood ones, and these are the crafted weapons for particle effects, not the ones you get the drops from.
right.
But they weren't done with Stormblood, and they jumped immediately to Hades while we were
Yes,
still in
we're
Shadowbringers.
still in Shadowbring. Yeah, yeah,
Skipped
crazy.
Susano completely. We finally got Susano. I was just like, I don't understand what is going on, huh?
Right.
And I don't think we've gotten any more from Shadowbringers since, have we?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, we don't have. I know a lot of people are looking forward to Titania weapons, and I don't know how they're going to do anything with those ugly, ugly weapons, the Emerald, Ruby, and Diamond weapons,
They
dude.
got to put some
They're
fat particle effects for me to care
they've
really
got to
about
be
them.
amazing. There are some weapons from that series that are okay, but a vast majority of them are just like bulky and just like crusty looking weapons. I don't know,
Warrior Light
but
ones aren't bad. Warrior
oh
Light
yes,
ones aren't
Warrior
bad.
of Light. Yeah, they could do something really cool with those, I think,
But
for
yeah, they're gonna
sure.
have to do something special for Ruby, Emerald, and Diamond. And I know where you were getting at with that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
that we'll get into crafting and gathering here in a moment. Was there anything else about the whole raiding scene that
I guess the only other thing I could potentially mention is Unreal, but you kind of know where I stand on Unreal. I think it's a lot of
it's
fun.
just
It's something you can. It's basically an extreme primal, right?
yeah.
It's just another extreme primal they add every patch that you can go and do twice a week to get something done. I think they kind of dropped the ball a little bit with Ultimate Weapon this time around. I don't know why they decided to go with Ultimate Weapon out of all of the primals they could potentially pick. I do not know why they went with Ultimate Weapon, but
Maybe to
them going
offset
to
Endsinger.
maybe.
I don't
But
know.
them going to Sephiroth next
Oh,
patch
I'm hyped
is
about that.
something I'm very excited for, and I think it's not difficult enough that you have to have a static for it, but it's definitely probably going to be difficult enough that you have to know what you're doing to get it done. And
Yep.
yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I think Unreals are fine. I just kind of wish they curated their primal pick a little bit closer, but that's just me personally. And hopefully the one after Sephiroth will be something like, I don't know. I think Sophia is a lot of fun. If they wanted
Oh
to do
yeah, yeah.
Sophia, I'd be
Sophia.
hyped for Sophia.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can imagine Zervan like skip or disband
That's what
immediately
I'm saying.
is the meme.
I'm not super hype about Zervan, and I think if they do Zervan, they'll probably make the DPS checks to the point where you probably can't skip Soar. That's just me.
Yeah.
I hope they don't. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. But nope, that's
No,
all I gotta say about rating.
I
That's
mean,
it.
if they stick to the Heavens Ward, they could do. I think it would be too soon to do either of these, considering DSR just came out. But Nidhogg Unreal or Thornton Unreal?
Norden, yeah, Norden and Thidhogg, yes, yeah.
Maybe point 0.4 and 0.5 patches. They could put those two Unreals. They should probably separate them from DSR for a little bit.
Yes, I mean yeah, I agree. I definitely thought they were going to do Thornton this time around because of DSR. Be like, hey, double dipping of Thornton, but unfortunately
That's
they
a
went with
little too much
Ultima,
of
and
heroes.
that's okay.
Little too much
Yeah.
of heroes, my friend.
But in the extreme Thornton, the first phase is that like really boring song. I forget what they called that one. You have to actually get to the final phase to get heroes in extreme. So that's exciting. But anyway, it is what it is.
Is what it is.
And plus, I like heroes. Heroes is great.
All right, that's how we feel about rating. What part do you want to move into next? We'll let you choose, because this is just a winging episode, so we don't even have any show notes.
Yeah, I know. God.
Let's see: PvP, crafting, casual content, things outside that Square Enix is doing with 14. What do you want to talk about?
I wish I knew more about the crafting scene. I mean, do you know anything about it right now? Because I'm
okay. Well, let's just go right into it. Crafting and gathering.
Let's go.
I think they took a good step forward with the expert recipes in Ishgard. Added some RNG elements to it, but outside of that, crafting is just a macro process. If you have the stats, then you have the macro should work. I think something needs to change there. I know that they've been cutting abilities, and I know they're worried about CP bloat, because we have so much CP that these macros can become, you need two macros and you have no problem. Whether there's RNG in your excellent or good conditions, you should get it done, as long as you have your stats. So, and then when it comes to gathering, I feel it's pretty freaking boring. The only part that's really interactive is the collectible scene, and even that isn't all that exciting. Setting timers is not engaging gameplay. So I don't know what they could do to enhance gathering. I talked about crafting. I when you talked about having the particle effects on weapons, I was like, okay, yep, I get it now. Yep, that's why that's there, because the crafters need something. Yeah, I just don't know. I level up my crafting so that I can repair for each expansion. This is the first expansion that I am going to be probably Omni 90 before the 0.2 patch. So I'm excited about that. So I can actually get into end game crafting, and maybe all of my thoughts are like, oh yeah, I was completely wrong. So I'll get back to you on that. But it's not all that engaging. Get the mats. I guess here's my big problem with crafting. God, there's so many goddamn mats that you have to collect. That your inventories are just awful. And then when they make you go back to a Realm Reborn, Shadowbringers, Stormblood to get off materials for like ore or meat or something, I'm like, oh my god, do I have to go all the way back there to get that? Can I just stay in these new zones? But I understand they want to repopulate and always going to the old places, and so they're not just completely abandoned. But it's whatever. I hate carrying a stack of tin just so I can have my ingots not be a problem. What do you feel about crafting and gathering?
I agree with you. I mean, it's hard to think about what they can do with crafting to make it more interactive besides the expert recipe thing. I think the expert recipe is a good way to go. I think they should do some of that more to make it so that you cannot macro it. You actually have to pay attention to what you're doing. But as for everything that you can macro, I mean, people are going to find the path of least resistance when it comes to stuff like this. So
that's for any piece of content. Yeah.
Unless they add like an interactive mini game to crafting, which I don't think is the way to go. I think that it's just going to be like this forever. I mean, to be fair, Final Fantasy XIV is probably the most interactive crafting system I've seen in a long time.
True.
At least you're doing something, right? In Final Fantasy XI, you just picked what you wanted in a box, and then you hoped to God that you crafted it. There was like no interactiveness at all. So it was interesting. But
Mannequin brings up a good point in chat. He's all, people are lazy when it comes
people
to
are
crafting.
absolutely lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only been a cutting edge crafter once in my entire life playing this game, and that was in 5.4. Yes, it was 5.4. I was perfectly geared. All of my stuff was melded on all of my crafters, and it did feel really good to be able to craft a whole new set for myself and for anybody who needed them for the new raid tier. I thought that was a lot of fun. Gathering all the materials, finding the cheapest way to get all the materials, kind of playing the market like that. And it was mind-numbing having to hit 2 macros because the macro was so long I had to hit 2 different buttons.
Yeah.
That was a little annoying, and it actually was quite time-consuming.
Yeah.
But being able to do that was pretty rewarding, and I know you can make a lot of money doing that. I know a lot of people have made a lot of gil doing that. So I'm not really sure what they can do with crafting besides, again, like kind of working on this expert recipe thing and at least giving some recipes the mandatory, like having to pay attention to what you're doing, right? Gathering is just one of those things. Gathering has always been just kind of a mind-numbing thing you kind of do when you have the chance or when you see that. Like for me, it was always, the time is, for me, it was 9 o'clock and 1 a.m. and 9 a.m. Back in 2.0. It was 1 a.m. for Darksteel and Korthus, and it was 9 a.m. for Gold and Eastern Thanalin. And I was always there no matter what. And I made a lot of money doing that. But I never would be like, I'm going to sit down for 5 hours and just gather this XYZ and then sell it. That was never my thing. It was always, hey, the time is right. I'm just going to go grab that real fast. For me, hot take. This is a pretty hot take, I think. I don't know how many people agree with me. I think it was a mistake to take away high quality gathering materials and make it so that you can't gather high quality materials anymore. Instead, it's just the amount that you gather is affected by perception now. I think that is stupid. I think having high quality materials, it kind of you worked your GP gathering points around being able to collect high quality stuff so you could sell it for a higher price to people. I think that was great. Now any old schmo can go gather X amount of whatever and literally bot to gather this amount of stuff and not worry about the high quality. And I don't know. I think it's stupid. That's just me personally. I know they're trying to make gathering more interactive with that whole collectible thing, like you said. I know they completely redid that whole UI and everything. I haven't interacted with it very much, but
it's
I know
pretty
they're trying
clean,
to
but
do something with it.
It's pretty clean UI, but it's also pretty simple. You got a stable action, you have a random action, and then you have an action that is lower in your progress but can not cost an attempt. So
right.
There's some buffs that you can give as far as your progress, but it's pretty simple as far as collectibles.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess gathering and crafting also has the custom delivery system, which is fine. The custom delivery system this time around being Emiliance is fun. I like the story with her. I think the story is probably the best part. Just getting to learn a little bit more about her and getting to learn a little bit more about life in Charlayan and being a student in Charlayan is really interesting. And there's nothing really fun or interactive about the custom delivery system. You just go buy some materials from an NPC and you craft them up, and that's it. That's all you do, and it's not even. You don't even have to do it that long. You do it for maybe
it's like capping your tombstones for the week. It's just all right, I gotta go do that because it's really easy scripts.
Yeah.
So
you do it. You just do it every week, and you do get a lot of white scripts out of it. So it's, I'm using it to get all of the Mastercraft 9 books, and I'm using it to level up my crafters too. I mean, it's at least there's a different way to do it.
Sure.
And like I said, I do like the story. And as for like, I think the whole crafting like storyline thing that you can do in the studium, where like, there's like the armorer and blacksmith and goldsmith all share like a mentor, and you go talk to them.
Oh yeah,
and they want you
the studium quest. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the
Crystarium.
crystalline mean, right? From last
yes.
expansion.
Yes.
I think that's cool because each one has a different story, and I'm pretty sure like the crystalline mean, they will come together after you do them all, and there's a nice little bonus cutscene that you'll get once you do them all, and that's fun because I always like the lore and meeting NPCs and getting to know their story. But
and
again,
the most important thing about the studium quests at the end, you get one of the most important rewards,
which is,
well, come on, you know what this is. This is me you're talking to.
So you get a minion out of it.
Yeah, baby, you get a freaking minion. Really? Damn Skippy, I'm doing this content.
I didn't know you got a minion out of it. I thought you maybe just got I know you got a title in a crystalline mean, but
I'm pretty sure if there's no minion, let me know. But I'm pretty sure there's a minion.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah. I mean, I like minions too. I'm not quite a correct collector like you, but I'll get a minion for sure.
You'll get there someday.
Yeah, I'll get there. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing really like crazy interactive about any of those stories, but at least they're there. It's something.
Sure.
I do kind of miss, and this is, I don't know if where we would put this in, but if we're just like talking about stuff, I do kind of miss each crafter having its own story, but I also miss every job having their own story as well. I miss the old job mentors. Like, I want to go back and see what my boy Wittergelt is doing, the monk guy. I want to go see how.
I'm sorry, my friend. That's gone the way of the dodo. I'm sorry.
They've got to do something with them though, man. Like, I think
that's where the studium quests, they are they're like the role quests. The studium is our role quests, and they're never going back to job quests because there's just too many jobs.
And I understand that.
Too many.
I guess even in Shadowbringers, they at least had a single quest you can do with all of your job mentors after you got to level 90. You could just go check up on them and see how they're doing, and you got a little cutscene or something. I think they at least have to do something like that. Maybe not a whole storyline, but at least let us go back and see how they're doing. Because I'm just one of those people, and I gain attachment to a lot of those characters. So I think it would be cool.
Haman, come on.
Yeah, Haman Holy Fist?
Yeah, bruh. Haman Holy Fist.
He's my boy.
Yeah, he's probably dead just because of old age.
He's like 100 years old, but he's also like, he's also getting it on, dude. That man's a freak. He's always got the ladies, bro. But anyway.
I was doing the 70 monk job quests recently, and I'm like, oh, it's Haman. Oh, this is probably the last time I'll see him. Like, realization. Yeah, all these guys that I'm seeing here on these 70s, yeah, probably not going to see you, like, ever again. I think there is is there an 80 job quest? Yeah, there's an 80 job quest for every.
Yes. Yes, it's just going back and checking up on people, right?
Basically,
I think that's it. Yeah.
Basically.
Because that's the Shadowbringers. But no, you actually, I actually saw Haman in, what was I think it was the seasonal event, because they'll pop up in seasonal events every once in a while, like the job mentors. So I think I saw him, maybe it was the Little Ladies Day. He just like showed up and he's just like, yo, what's up? And you just talk to him for a little bit, see how he's doing. That's it. But like, I don't know. I just would like to see more of them, but I'm going a little bit of a tangent. As for crafting and gathering, they could do something to make it a little bit more fun, but it's been the way it is forever. So I don't know if I really see them doing that much.
Okay.
But
did you engage much with the crafter or gatherer legendaries?
No, not at all. I didn't do it. I participated bare minimum in Ishgard Restoration. Just to get the cards so I could get the card mount. That's it. Gotcha. The triple triad cards.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I did a couple steps. There was a little bit of difficulty. Like, I'm like, oh, I need to get my gear up. I need to maybe get some melds.
Mhm.
So it wasn't as easy as macro, and maybe I just really didn't look that hard, but I found that to be a little bit challenging, and maybe challenge equals engagement for me. I understand that about myself. But over the last couple of weeks, I've like seen a lot of you know maxed out crafter gatherer legendaries. Those particle effects are dope. Like
Yeah, yeah.
those are awesome. I feel like I might need to go back and revisit that, and it's over. I'm over leveled basically for it, and over geared for it, so it'll be just easy peasy. But I think those are. I might go back and redo those legendaries, just like I'm gonna be redoing like Eureka legendaries for healers and Xanor stuff for healers too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's always going to be there. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with this guard restoration. If I think they'll probably just keep it in the game. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know what the lore is. I guess just like fixing up people in the broom or something, just helping out the less fortunate Ishgard or whatever. But um, yeah, yeah. You could go back for the glam, dude. The glam's always there, bro. Just like all the relics.
and
I've had my Artemis bow Atma for like ever,
it,
and I have one of the books in my key items um, just chilling there for the Artemis bow Atma that I need to finish because I always wanted the relic bow, the Yoichi bow or whatever it's called with the glow, like the golden thing. I think that's cool. So I might end up going to do that, but
okay,
yeah.
cool. Anything else for crafters and gatherers that I can think of? Not off the top of my head. So we want a little bit more engaging. Overall, it's not all that fun. It's just, you know, if you want to dive headfirst into, doing it for making gil, it can be a good way to do that.
Yeah.
And you feel that's rewarding. I've
Mhm.
never done that. I've always been a patch or four behind. But
Yeah.
maybe I can get into that. We'll see. Crafting gathering's done. How about we move to PvP? Let's talk about
Sure.
PvP. Uh, I think they are headed in the right direction. They have sped up what I felt was a pretty meh part of the game.
Mm.
Crystalline Conflict is really good. I'm really excited about Rival Wings. I need to play more jobs though. I need to experience more jobs in this mode
Mhm.
because everyone seems to be really unique in their setup. I've played a little bit of Samurai, played a little bit of Monk. Monk felt really good, zipping around, beating some up real quick, and then trying to get out before you get retaliated.
Mhm.
And that might be the gist of it for all the melee. But I'm really liking the state of PvP. I think the rewards are good for the series. Not so much for seasons. It's just some adventurer plate stuff, and it really hasn't caught on all that much. I
Yeah.
think some people are waiting for 6.2 to drop, where we get the full release and they do some fixes because like resetting your primary adventurer plate and portrait is annoying.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm liking where PvP's at, and I just want to see a couple more modes come to the game. Maybe like capture the flag, or deathmatch. The most one with the most kills, everyone for themselves, free for all would be kind of cool. And then maybe a battle royale. We've talked about that before. That'd be
We
kind of
have, yeah.
cool. How do you feel about PvP, sir?
Like you said, PvP is going in the right direction. I think. Obviously, I think we've had more people PvPing now than with Crystalline Conflict than we've ever had ever, because I think they actually did kind of do the job system right. I think
Yeah,
for PvP,
yeah.
every job does feel very unique. Every job has its own little niche that they fill. And every job has a play style, and if you don't vibe with one, you'll probably vibe with another, and you can kind of find what your main is, right, and kind of just master that one. For me, that's like probably warrior. I have a lot of fun with warrior, but yeah, I think that they're definitely going the right direction. I think that they could do some things to kind of make it a little bit more exciting. The reward system is really great, but once you're kind of done with it, you're like done with it. Like once you've done all the battle pass or whatever, after that, there's really no other rewards to get besides just more and more trophy crystals, which is great if you really want some of that trophy crystal stuff. Which I think they did a good job with those rewards too. Like even if it's just like alternate colored job specific gear, I think it's really cool just to have that option. And even like the God, what are they called, the weapons that you have to use the wolf collars for, the black and red weapons.
Yeah,
The
sure,
fact
sure,
that you
yeah.
can get those with trophy crystals is great. So there's stuff to do, but like for me, I kind of got what I wanted out of the PvP, and then I haven't played Crystalline Conflict in forever. So, but that's just me. I know a lot of people are still engaging with it, but I am super excited also for Rival Wings. That was always my favorite PvP mode. It probably still is my favorite PvP mode, even with Crystalline Conflict. I just love the whole objective based, gathering resources and then getting in giant freaking robots and beating people down in these giant robots. I think that's sick. I think I've always liked getting into brute justice and just going like absolutely ham on people. It's so fun. And
I like the MOBA aspect of
yeah,
Rival Wings. It's not fully MOBA, but it's pretty close. I'm really excited to see how, because everything's kind of quickened, in my opinion, with the PvP rework. So I'm really interested to see how that plays in to Rival Wings. And I know they're going to make some adjustments. So that is another thing I'm interested in seeing on what those adjustments are going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Hopefully they did tune it and balance it correctly. I know that Frontlines right now is kind of, at least it was back when I first heard about it, is kind of like a crazy cluster of just like, insanity in Frontline. So hopefully they tune Rival Wings to be a little bit less crazy and hectic, and they're, a little bit more strategic, because that's kind of why I like Rival Wings. But yeah, I think it's due for. I think it's going to be good. I think it's due to be really interesting and fun, and I want to get back into it because I know I have a lot of rewards from Rival Wings that I want to get, like the mounts, the mechanical gorilla, and all the other stuff you can get. I'm looking forward to getting. So,
Hell yeah.
Exactly, man. And I think that they could add some more modes. I think the battle royale would be interesting. I think capture. I don't know why they haven't done capture the flag yet. To be honest, it just seems like a basic or logical conclusion.
And I think you would cap that at like 8v8.
Yeah, it wouldn't be huge, right? Yeah. So they could do it. I think that they have a good baseline for the PvP. And I am excited for the future of the PvP for once. I've never ever been that interested in it, but now I'm actually looking forward to it. So,
and speaking of patches coming out, at that point, not only will we have a season 3 for Crystalline Conflict, so new rewards ish from there. I guess that's just, if you like the PvP challenge, I guess, cool. More power to you. But a new series is going to launch. So series 2, so we get a whole new battle pass. And hopefully we get some really cool new rewards to spend our trophy crystals on. I'm gonna have a lot because I didn't buy all that much. I want some more emotes and mounts and minions. That's what I care about. I'm not recolors. Gear isn't all that impressive to me, especially when we can die.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So, but yeah, I'm interested to see where PvP leads us into the future. But yeah, so. Some more modes would be cool. They're heading in the right direction. It's not the garbage fire that it was.
No.
So that's good. That's good. They do need to work a little bit more on balance. Clearly Sage is trashed here because they haven't buffed it or nerfed it at all ever. One of the few jobs they've never touched. I guess that means it's in a good spot, right?
I have to look for it. I have it somewhere here. Somebody posted some like win rates. My computer is all screwed up. When it first
started, it was if the opposing team had a white mage and a warrior and you did not, you lost.
Yeah, absolutely. God, where would I find it? Photos? No screenshots. Somebody posted it somewhere. I'll have to find it. But I'm actually surprised by it because the win rate on a lot of jobs is different than what I thought it would be. Like Warriors win rate is lower than other like Paladins have the highest win rate. I
Wow.
don't know where to find it. Isn't that wild? Yeah, and so do like because I think it was so strong that a lot of people are just like throwing themselves on Warrior and White Mage and they're not good at it and they just lose. Whereas
Mm.
like players that play like the less good jobs like Sage are probably a lot better at it and so they have a higher win rate. So
Yeah,
I don't know if
they're
Sage is
sticking to their jobs.
trashy.
No,
Exactly.
Sage
Yeah,
is not
yeah,
trash.
yeah, yeah.
Sage is a lot of fun. It has a cool gameplay loop with um, shielding and then using that for a debuff AoE, range debuff AoE, so you don't have to really get in there. And then flying in for a phlegma for a kill is pretty dope.
Yeah,
I love Sage's gameplay, so that I'm gonna stick with that as my main PvP job. Although I
for
will
sure.
say, I did monk in a front line, and it was the first time I ever got to was like battle high level 80.
Oh,
Like I was ripping through people. It was
yeah.
great. I was like, I stayed with a cluster of people, and I would like, okay, that person has gotten a little too far. Zoom in, do my thing, get the hell out. Find the next person that's stray cat, go get it.
Yep.
Come back in. So like at the end of it, I was battle high 80. I was like, holy crap, I must have done something right. We still lost though. It
Of
sucks.
course you did. Yep. That's one of those things. You could feel like you're doing so good, but your team is just like letting you down. And then you just lose and it
I
feels really
know,
bad.
especially when it's what 48 v 48 v 48 or something like that. It's like insane
Exactly.
amount of
Like
people.
one person can pop off, but it's one person amongst 48. So it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so that's how we feel about PvP. We've gone over crafting, we've gone over raiding. Let's talk about casual content. And with casual content, I want to put the 24 mans in there,
Sure.
dungeons, uh, Eureka, Zadnor, all that kind of superfluous stuff that we find fun on a day-to-day basis. You brought up Unreal and raiding. I was going to put that in casual too because it is kind of
Fair
meh.
enough.
But since we already went over that, I'm going to let you start though, since I went, first on all the other three. How do you feel about the state of casual content for this game?
Um, I, I think that it's due to have a resurgence with this whole the island sanctuary thing coming. I think that's going to be a really big casual thing for people. But as for right now, I think there's enough to keep people interested. I think the 24 man is are fine. I think the 24 man this time around at Glea was really really good, and hopefully they keep this level of quality into the next tiers of the 24 man, which I think they will. Um, I always have fun going back and doing Aglaya. And I love the music and I love the boss fights. So
Yeah, I love our weekly, Piers and I weekly, we'll get
yeah,
together with his significant other and we'll do Aglia and Unreals together. I actually really look forward to doing that every week. It's fun.
me too. It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun just like parsing, haha, parsing, but in 24 mans. But it's still fun. It's fun to see if you can just do better every week than you did last week, and kind of maximizing your uptime on these different bosses and seeing what you can do differently to try to get some better numbers. In content where you're not griefing the team if you greed, you're just griefing yourself if you fall off a cliff or something. So, um,
My
yeah, I
my,
just think that's a lot of
my
fun.
reason for doing Aglia is the memory of new people and them not knowing what's going on. Like that guy doesn't know what's going on. He's gonna die a lot.
Exactly. That's what makes week one 24 man so fun too, is just watching
Yeah.
the absolute chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So fun. Definitely worth it if you haven't done a week one 24 man to give it a shot. But anyway, yeah, I like that a lot. God, we already talked about Unreals. What else was there under casual content? I'm
Uh,
not a casual player, so I don't know.
oh my
I'm
goodness.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Let's talk about dungeons. Go
Dungeons.
dungeons.
Dungeons, I mean, again, like I said about Island Sanctuary, there is going to be some more interesting dungeon content coming in 6.2 with the
Sure.
Criterion dungeons. So I think that they could do something interesting with that. We just haven't seen it in play yet, so we don't know how difficult it's going to be. We don't know how involved it's going to be. We don't know with the reward structure or any of that stuff yet. So I guess
Mhm.
when we finally get there, we can make a better gauge on how it's going, like the longevity of it or how good of it is as a content. But I am looking forward to it because as of right now, dungeons have just been the same thing since all the way back. They've
Yep.
just been two mid bosses and a final boss with trash in between. That's it. The only thing different is the background, what you're looking at, the bosses that you fight, and the music. Like that's literally it. There's nothing really interesting about any of the dungeons. There's a lot they could do, I think, to make the dungeons more interesting.
Okay.
Um, I think just even thinking about, I did in Mental Roulette. I did what was it, Katana Ravel last night, and
Okay.
they have like the trash fights, but it's just like one dude and that one, and then there's lasers coming from either side, and you have to hide
Yeah.
behind
It
things.
was like a mini boss kind of thing going
Yes,
on.
and that's interesting. It's not, once you've done it a few times, it's not necessarily fun, but it's interesting. They could do things like that to kind of break up the monotony of just trash boss, trash boss, trash boss. Finish, you win, haha. Like I think they could do some more interesting things. I'm always an advocate of them adding more dungeons every patch, but they're not going to do it. I'm used to the old 2.0 3 dungeons a freaking patch. I know that's unrealistic, and I know some of those dungeons that we got from in the 3 were not great. But I'm in
Yeah.
that case, I would like quantity over quality because man, it's boring to do the same dungeons for expert roulette every single day. I am sick of Smileton. I hate that dungeon. The only thing good about Smileton is it goes fast. That's it. And I just want some different things, man. I
The
want expert roulette
only
to be a little bit more interesting.
the only variance with dungeons is the job you're playing.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. So
And the
yeah,
role, yeah.
if I'm feeling cheeky, then I'll go on Warrior or I'll go on. I've been doing Sage lately in expert roulettes just to do something
Good.
different. But that's it, man. Like you're just getting a different experience because you're on a different job. But it's not like the content's any different, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
I would at least like 2 dungeons a patch. I know it's not going to happen, but that
Yeah.
again, it's a dream. I want them to go back to 2 dungeons a patch, but it's not going to happen. But I want them to at least with the Criterion. If they do Criterion dungeons right, and we're at least getting a Criterion dungeon and a regular dungeon a patch, I would enjoy that. They can do that. That's fine. So let's see if those Criterion dungeons are any good. First of all, I'm hoping they are, but
Okay.
um, I think that's at least something. So yeah.
Anything else in the casual content, like you wish they had maybe have a Bozja or Zadnor, or do you think maybe they're scared away because of all the problems with Zadnor and Bozja Southern Front?
I hope they do something like that in the future. I know it's not going to happen with this whole Manderville weapon quest line. I don't
Yeah,
know what
I
they're going to do with this Manderville thing. I don't know if they're going to go back to the old like ARR slash Heavensward way of just like doing a bunch of dungeons and grinding a bunch of stuff.
I
I don't know if
think
that's what they're
yeah.
doing.
I think we're
Uh,
going back to those days of, you're grinding old content, you
yeah.
know, 10,
I mean,
20 times.
I've told you my thoughts on it. I actually like that version of it, not necessarily more than Eureka or Bosja, but I did like the Heaven's Word or the ARR way of it because it kept me logging on every day. It kept me doing my dailies. Like right now, I have no reason to do any dailies other than Expert Roulette because I've leveled all my jobs to 90, so I have nothing left to do. Right, but
Sure.
now if like I can actually grind, like if poetics are a thing I can grind, then hell yeah, I'll go into and do main scenario, or I'll go do like trials or normal mode, whatever, just to get tombstone so I can grind towards my relic or something. It keeps me doing those dailies. So that's the only thing that I actually like about that process of doing a relic. But at the same time, there are a lot of good things about Eureka. There are a lot of good things about Bosja. They're both good ways to make guild. They're both good ways to sink a lot of time. They're both good ways to get things like mounts, minions, titles from like the duels and Bosja.
Mm.
I hope they do something because didn't they say that they wanted to do stuff like the duels in the future? And I
Yeah.
think the duels were a lot of fun. So like I hope they do something
He-
with that system in the future.
Here's the problem with duels. Everyone wanted to do them,
Yeah.
and only one could at a time. So you have that gate, that we're going to the club. Can we get in this time? And then it's also time restrictive too. I mean, the associated critical engagement could only pop once an hour.
Something like that. It was like, yeah, once every hour.
So it's like, okay, well, I gotta hunt for an instance where
That
it hasn't popped
it's
yet,
not up. Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah.
then hope that I get it. I get a chance at it. Well, first, don't mess up at all. You're
Yep.
like, oh well, I just screwed myself out of a chance. They fixed a little bit of that with the notoriety system.
Yes.
I really appreciated that. So
Yep.
I don't know if anybody else has done this, but I would go to Zadno or Bozja, participate in the critical engagements that I didn't need just to get my notoriety up, and then like, okay, time to get, because now I'm at notoriety 4. Like I'm like guaranteed to get the next Lions fight. So let's go. Let's do, chocobos. I really liked the content, using lost actions. I think that's really
Yes.
awesome. You
Yeah.
feel like a superhero when you get all buffed up like that. And you got, I mean, Reflect in the chocobo skirmish was dope.
Makes it tolerable. Yes.
It's not even tolerable. It's like, it's broken. It's so broken.
It's straight up busted, yes. But man, that critical engagement was just awful. Ugh.
Until I learned about the Reflect, yeah, it was pretty bad. Because if you're on the wrong side of the meteors dropping on the edges,
Yes.
that was no bueno. Or the stacks.
Mhm.
But if I'm like, oh, I got the stack, I would run away. If I had the stack, I would run away and be like,
and then
reflect. Yep.
Yeah.
Boom, all that damage on the chocobo.
Yeah. Feels bad.
I do like doing the chocobo when it's like only 4 people in there, because then I could take a tank buster because
There
it
you go.
scales down. So I'm like, yay. Because if you go in with like 16 people and then all the tanks are dead, I'm like, oh, this is going to end bad.
Yeah, now the
because
tank buster's going to kill you. Yes.
yeah, there's too many people.
Yeah.
I want to see critical engagements and duels out in the open world with fates.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. And you could do like two duels per zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe that's a little excessive. That'd be 12 duels, but I think that would bring a lot of life to the zones. Because right now, they made a good step with bicolor gemstones.
Yes.
But I think once you're done with that farm, you're out, and that can be done pretty quickly. You can grind those out in a couple days if you're really a try hard at it. What else? Dungeons. I agree with you. I think dungeons are just, with PvP coming up, it might be down there as probably the most boring piece of content.
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful for Criterion Dungeon and the Savage. The variant dungeon it's story mode to me. I'll try it, and I'm going in thinking that it's going to be story mode, so that's my expectation. I'm keeping myself completely open on Criterion Dungeon. I want to see how it is. I'm not putting any undue expectations on it. So
That's fair.
one thing with Criterion Dungeon though is going to be, what are going to be the rewards? Why do we want to keep going back, every day or every week? Or I don't know how that's all going to shake out. I'm sure they're going to tell us in the next live letter, August 12th. Be here,
Open.
Tarkoth Gaming, 5 a.m. Be happy to chat with you about it.
I'll be sleeping. Yeah.
Well, check out the recap over on YouTube, sir.
I will. Okay.
What else for casual content? 24 Mans. I think Aglia was okay. Mainly because I feel Byragat and Ralgar are too slow in their abilities. Like there's just way too much time between sets of mechanics.
I agree with that.
So you're just like, and especially as a healer, I'm just like doses.
Definitely with Fire God for sure. Yeah, I'm thinking about it now. Like, dude, yeah, he does this stuff so staggered. It's crazy.
I think it's even worse with Ralgar, especially as a healer, because you have you got the half room cleave. Well, I don't need to heal on that as long as everyone's
there.
You got the punching the meteor. Well, as long as everybody's up above, no one's really taking damage. The only time it really gets exciting is the knockback. Who do I have to res? Oh, it's Piers this time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have killed myself like the last 2 times in that fight, so yes.
Oh, I love getting knocked back, and then I wing in, and I forget that there's a gap in the fingers.
And then you get, yep, done
right
that before. Yep.
So they got some work to do, but Azema and Nalthal are choice. The music is great, especially in the balance. I'm trying to learn the lyrics of that song so I could just sing it.
You're getting better. I will say I like Ralgar because it's a different
arena.
Arena, yes.
Okay.
I like that it's a different arena. I like that the fingers are things you can individually go on, and there's mechanics built around it. Maybe not the most engaging mechanics, and a lot of people just skip it anyway by just dashing forward, so they skip the knockback. But I still think it's an interesting thing, so they could keep up doing that. I want different arenas. I was thinking about, like, I forget who it was. I was watching somebody talk about this game, and I couldn't tell you who. But they were talking about, like, the jump button and how maybe it was my raid group, but they're talking about the jump button and how it's never used in any fights or whatever. And I was like, if you actually think about it, back in T1 with Caduceus, you could jump because all of the different things
you
were
had the levels.
You could jump on the different levels, and that was an interesting thing you could do.
Yeah,
I just wish they would do more stuff like that.
Use that Z-axis.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't. But you're right. I can't remember another time when they really used the Z-axis in that kind of way. Everything else has pretty been, turn 2, as far as the entire thing, was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And definitely unique.
There was E4 with Titan, where he would put some people up on top and some people down at the bottom.
Yes, Titan.
But you can't jump to the other, like, you can't jump up to the top one. You just can fall down. But that is something that they did.
It's just a missed mechanic if you're in the wrong spot.
Yeah, but it was interesting. So I hope they do more stuff like that. Yeah.
Use that Z-axis, Square. You have the ability. You have the technology. Anything else casual? They did say that we're going to get another deep dungeon, right?
Yes.
Probably going to be 6.3?
They like outright confirmed that. So yes, probably. We haven't like heard anything about it. So my guess would be 6.3.
Okay. So deep dungeon, maybe we can get together for that.
That'd be fun.
Criterion dungeons, I'm hopeful for that. If they are truly savage, we'll have to put that in the rating, section in the future. I do appreciate that they're trying to bring trusts into everything, so you don't have to wait on a damn queue, especially for poor DPS.
No, it's not that bad. Sometimes
I don't know. When you're streaming and you're like, okay, I got a 12-minute queue on my DPS.
Yeah,
what can I do while I'm streaming and waiting for this 12-minute queue? I've figured out some stuff, and I still got triple triad as a backup. So
of course, work on that card mount, dude.
Well, I'm still working on crafting, so I'm trying to get that Omni 90, crafting life. So Faith's kind of covered that. Would love to see duels and big critical engagements come to that. Reward people for coming to the Fates, even if it's just a couple of critical engagements. I found all the critical engagements to be a lot of fun.
They were really, really well designed.
And they used a lot of cool mechanics. Not right now. Love you. That's my daughter. She's like, I want to change. I'm like, not right now. What other casual stuff? I can't think of much.
I think we pretty much
Island
nailed it all,
Sanctuary. Island
unless
Sanctuary
it's
is really
like
cool.
unless it's
Oh.
player-driven casual content. Like I was going to talk about like RP venues, which are really popular nowadays, and like you
Mm-hmm.
can go on Party Finder and go to the others tab and see like, especially on weekends, just tons and tons of these RP venues you can go check out. So I know the whole billboard meme or whatever, but like not every place is like that. And not every place is going to sell
Yeah.
ERP. You can
Some,
actually just go and have fun and meet people. So, but again, that's player driven stuff. So,
yeah, I think there's an event going on today on one of the data centers. It's a whole like costume contest. It's like a whole convention. They even called it a con.
yeah.
So I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Like for the people that, and again, you brought this up. This game is about, you get what you put into it. So the people that, are putting on these cons, that put on plays, form their house to be a club, like they're putting way more effort into this social aspect. That's not even like part of like the game. So you're completely right. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. Your $15 a month can go far.
It can. Yeah.
Mine's at like $24 a month because I have way too many retainers.
Retainers.
Yeah. Retainers suck. I was going to talk about housing though.
Okay.
Housing though is still a problem.
Of course it is.
Yeah. And with the announcement that data centers and new servers are delayed for NA, that just pushes that whole, thing back. But even when they go live, it's still not going to be enough housing. So they need to do something. I don't know what it's going to be. Just double the amount of wards, for crying out loud. Get rid of small houses. Like I still see like on each ward, like one or two small houses that just no one wants. No one wants a small house. There's just not enough space. So just make everything a medium house. If you have to redo the plots, and the instances, take that time. You're redoing all the graphics, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that is true.
Yeah, that's about it for casual. I think it's in an okay place, but yeah, I think it's due in the next couple patches for a resurgence with Island Sanctuary, the dungeons, and the variant dungeon will be a cool piece of content. Then down the road, we got another Palace of the Dead.
Yeah.
Or Deep Dungeon. So I think it's in an okay place, and it's bound to get better. So I'm hopeful for it. Yeah. Good times.
Me too. I think the game's going in a good direction. So
last thing for state of the game, let's maybe talk about systems that we want to see come to the game, or what they're missing, what we really like that they're adding. I'll start with what I feel is missing, and I will keep harping on this. They need to redo the entire glam system to be a collection transmog system. I'm tired of going to my glamour dresser. I know that even in World of Warcraft, you have to go to a person to set up your transmog. You could keep the glamour plates. I think that's nice. But I want to be able to, get a piece of gear and just check mark. Okay, you've gotten it. It's now in your collection. You can use that. Like, why can't that be a thing? I mean, you're not sparing any expense in this game, as you've said. You're buying all these servers. You're doing all these things. Just let's redo the glamour system, please, please, please. That would make me a happy panda. I think that would make a lot of people happy in that regard. And then you could dump all that gear in the glamour dresser because it's just a collection tab. So that's less information that Square has to hold on to as far as what gear do you have in your inventory. And, because you could pull it out and use it. Like if it's just a part of your collection, it's just a check mark, and a little check mark in the database saying you have access to this piece. It's not actual gear. It's just what's already in the game. So Uh, I think they also need to do something with the link shell system. It's a little cumbersome. And the fact that you're capped. I understand that a lot of people will get into a cross-world link shell with like one or two other people, and then they'll collect dust and like, oh, I don't want to, because if I want to talk to these people, it's like, and then the not being able to whisper people when they're in instances is annoying. I kind of wish they would ease up on that restriction. Like if you're on the friends list with someone, maybe whispers can go through. But if you're not, it's blocked. Maybe that's a way they can go. I'm okay with the Mog Station. Mog Station is fine. I understand supplemental income for the game. I wish there was more minions because I would spend more money if there were minions.
Of course.
But there's not, so I get to keep my money. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
Other than that, combat's good. UI elements are okay. A lot of people want chat bubbles. I think that would enhance the game quite a bit. So you're not like, okay, I'm seeing here, but then I got to go down in this corner to the chat box to see what they're saying. Especially would be really good for plays. If that was actually incorporated into the game. Yeah. I know they're doing a graphical overhaul, so that's awesome. Maybe it'd be less reliance on G-Shade. But people are going to mod, so...
Modders are going to mod.
Modders are going to mod. I came across... someone showed me some of the mods, and it was not safe for work. Thank God it wasn't streaming. I couldn't see it on my end because I'm on PS5. I can't mod anything. But they showed me their screen, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. And then they're like, no, okay, but now use this piece of equipment. I'm like, okay. Oh, God, that's a little hard on the eyes. Like, I don't necessarily care to see that in game. It's okay. But now I know it's a thing, so...
It's pretty wild, and it's also wild to think about that you can just be like walking down the street in Ul'dah, and in your game everything's fine, but in their game, either you're naked or they're naked or everyone's naked, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Modders are gonna mod. What kind of systems do you maybe want to see come to the game? What do you like? What do you don't like?
Addressing the glamour system, I think you're absolutely right. I think they could do something different. I think doubling the amount of space in the glamour dresser is a band-aid problem, and I think it's a silly band-aid problem because it's just going to take up more space on their servers, right? So I just don't understand why they don't do what you said and just make a checkmark system. Have a book, and you can just go down a list and you can just check off things. And I think you can even make a game out of it, right? Like you can gamify that. It'll make people go back into dungeons and actually want to collect all this gear.
Yeah.
Just so they can check it off their list.
Collectors gonna collect.
Love to collect. Exactly. So I think that that's something they could definitely do, and I don't know why they haven't done something like that yet. I think it's very clunky to have to hold on to all of this gear. And just in case you want to use it for a glam down the line, you don't know if you're going to want to, but just in case you might, you're just going to hold that slot in that damn glamour dresser because, you know, maybe something will go with it later. You know, it's just kind of like annoying like that. So I do agree with you. I think
my hope is 7.0, they make that one of the big bullet points for the expansion. People would lose their minds.
For sure, dude. I'm telling you. What else? I mean... There's nothing really else I can think of. You've pretty much mentioned everything. They are overdoing the graphics eventually, or the
it needed to happen.
It did need to
especially
happen.
With PS5 and its graphical updates. They're gonna have to bring up. Here's the funny thing: PC is now the lowest spec.
Yeah.
So maybe they need to bring that up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm enjoying my PS5. I need to play more in performance mode. I play in graphics mode, and maybe that's my DSR problem. Maybe I suck so much because I'm playing in graphics mode, not performance mode.
That's got to be it, dude.
Yep.
Definitely.
That's what it is. I'll make sure that when we do Uwu that I'll be in performance mode for
Make
you.
sure you switch it over to performance for sure. I'll have to kick you at the group.
Do you play in performance mode or graphics mode on your PS5?
I don't even know, dude. What is there? How do you figure it
toggle.
out?
It's a toggle in your system. System
Is
config.
it
in game
in Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out then.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Probably whatever the default is then.
Basically, well, you're probably in graphics mode then. I think it defaults to the 4K. But then, yeah, you can toggle it so that you're in performance mode. So it brings it down to 1080p, I believe. But then you get 60 frames per second. So,
gotcha. Okay, well, I'll have to give that a shot then. God, I've kind of mentioned everything that I want in the game and the other things we were talking about, right? Like,
sure.
like the duel thing and critical engagements and more interesting boss fight design with the different arenas and more interesting and engaging dungeons. I don't know what to do with the housing system besides just like double the amount of housing wards. I just don't know what else they could potentially do to fix that issue, because it's always going to be something that's in demand, and they've gone from being able to click on something randomly and hope you buy it to a lottery system, and nothing is going to work. Just absolutely nothing, unless you like instance all of the housing, and then nobody will want it because everybody likes to show off their house. It's the whole point. People want to show it off.
Yeah.
So
God, those Paisa house scare the crap out of me though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Those and like that's
that's my FC house, right?
Is it?
Aeon and Sim, and they've made it it's a Paisa house.
That's cursed. I don't know why. Like that's no. That's awful. I'm sorry. Do you guys have a medium?
No, we have a large.
You have a large? Nice.
Pretty sure it's a large, yeah.
Cool. That's still cursed though. That's actually probably worse that it's a Paisa house. Yeah. I think that's about it. I mean, yeah, I can't think of anything else. I think everything else is pretty good. I've got pretty much what I want.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm pretty satisfied.
That's good, man. That's good. So you're getting your $15 a month. I feel like I'm getting my $15 a month. Hopefully you guys out in chat feel like you're getting your $15 a month. It's a good game. I think it's in a good state. If I had to like give it on a 1 to 10 ranking, I'd say it's at 8.5. There's still some things they can do. The system's a little bit here, a little bit there. You get those little increases in my grading. But I love the game. If I didn't, I wouldn't be playing it. If I ever find myself bored, there's just always so much content. Especially when if you're coming in new now, God, I can't imagine like all the unlocks you got to do, all the content that you can do. Like, where do I start? I'm like, well, so you start by getting to 90 and then you kind of pick from there.
Yeah, it probably seems daunting to a new player, but at the same time, like that's kind of a good problem to have, because you have a lot of content to do. Like, you will not be bored anytime soon with this game. Once you start out, right? You got so much potential in the future, so much story, hundreds of hours of story, got all kinds of stuff. So,
all right, I think that'll about wrap it up for our show. Thank you all for joining. If you're watching on Twitch, awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. You can catch us every Friday at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. I had to kind of think because time's different for me because I'm in Mountain. This will go live up on YouTube. That's a streamer problem, not a game issue. Okay. Calm down. Love you too, Empty Mannequin. But yeah, we're getting into real dry territory as far as content. So if you guys have any thoughts on topics, please let us know and send an email to tarkothgaming@gmail.com, and possibly, very possibly, your comment or question can be a main topic, main story quest here on Hydaelyn's Heroes. All right, Piers, now that we're all done and ended, where can people find you?
People can find me at radio_Piers on Twitch. I don't stream ever, so I don't know why you'd come by. I'm kidding, by the way. Come follow me. Eventually, I will start streaming again. My time has opened up since I've beaten DSR. I wanted to kind of see how it would go with reclears before I start dedicating myself to streaming more often. Reclears are going pretty smooth. So as far as I understand, I should have a lot more free time on my hands. So I have a backlog of games that is crazy. I can only stream games right now on my PlayStation 5, though. So if I do have games that I'm playing on my other systems, unfortunately, I can't stream it yet. Eventually, I hope to be able to stream other things. But for right now, hopefully, you will see me streaming on Twitch more often, radio_Piers, of course. If you want to hang out with me in the game of Final Fantasy XIV, I am on the Leviathan server on the Primal Data Center. Come hang out. Piers Harvey, Piers spelled just like it is underneath my face there. Harvey, Harvey, like Cecil Harvey from Final Fantasy IV. So come check me out. It's Cecil. Anybody who says Cecil is deranged.
Or was 8 when they put that in their brain?
All right, that's fair. That's fine. You got the. I have some very interesting pronunciations for some Final Fantasy XI stuff. I'll put it that way. But some of those names are crazy. Anyway, yes, come check me out there. Say hi. Come hang out. Ask me how I'm doing. Run a dungeon with me. Anything. I'm open for anything. Come say hi. Anyway, Tark, you have a bunch of places that people can find you.
Yeah.
But let them know what those are.
Well, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkoth Gaming. I make it pretty easy. It's right there, Tarkoth Gaming. Pretty simple to understand. So follow on all the things. This show will go on YouTube probably tomorrow morning. So yeah, if you missed part of it or want to rewatch something and want to tell us we're wrong, drop a comment down on YouTube. Let us know we're a bunch of schmucks and let us know enlighten us with your knowledge and your wisdom. We'd appreciate it. If you want to find me in game, Tarkoth Solo, just like Han Solo, but without Leia. Sag. But you can find me on Excalibur on the Primal Data Center. Love to hang out. We do stuff together. We have a good time in chat. We recently got affiliated, so we got emotes and I got sound effects live now. So Master Control Program's having his way with us, unfortunately. So we're trying to keep him at bay. It's been a good time. And then every Friday night we do Friday Night Blue. So if you're interested in leveling up some Blue Mage, doing some raiding, getting those spells, come hang out. It's a good time. But that's going to be it for us. Thank you all for joining us. I hope we had a good time. But until next time, y'all take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And have a good one. End of line.